Welcome to Recovering Addict. I'm your host, LT, and I'm an alcoholic addict.
I'm your co-host, Felice Weaver, married to an alcoholic addict.
Man, I feel really super good and excited right now. And you know what's funny is this morning and throughout the day, well, mostly after work, I got off at 3 o'clock, came home, and I wasn't too happy. Like some of you know, I've been pretty stressed out over the weekend due to some events that took place with my son and my ex and all that kind of good stuff. And then today, I didn't have a certain certificate to help my son get his driver's license today, so that irritated me, and I had just been stressed out, deep inside my own head, all that kind of stuff us addicts go through. But then I drug myself to my IOP, and I'm going to highly suggest right now, if any one of you, if it is possible at all to go find a counselor that facilitates group therapy, go. If you can go, freaking go. And if it's a 12-step program where they're pushing you through the steps and you get to know this group, do it. I highly recommend it. And if I could make you, I would, because it's that valuable. I was inside my own head. I was not feeling like it. So we get there, group sets up, right? We sit in a circle, and it's still quarantine type stuff. So we got masks on, we get our feet temperature taken and all that kind of stuff. But we go in and we go around the room. Hi, I'm LT. I'm an alcoholic. I've been to, 4 meetings today. I'm currently working step 7. And then I go, I've been kind of stressed out. Not gonna, you don't lie. That's where you're open and honest and you tell them about your emotions. How are you feeling? Is your head in recovery or relapse? And we all go around the room and we all say this, right? And so everybody says their piece and they get back to me. LT, is there something on your mind you want to talk about? And I spill my guts because that's what you're there for. So I tell them exactly how I feel, what's going on with the family life, what's going on with the kids and the ex, and what's going on with work and what's happening right up to the very moment. I did not want to go today either. And the saying is if you don't feel like going to a meeting, go to a meeting. That's the time you need to go because it seriously will pull you up. The group consciousness, that could be a higher power at that moment for you, and it may be exactly what you need. Like it was exactly what I needed today. And so I was able to talk about it. And on top of that, I read my step 7. So I just completed step 7, got high fives. Everybody enjoyed it. And the thing that was really cool is my counselor sat through and listened to my whole step 7. He usually doesn't stick around for the step readings. He lets the staff take care of that, but he stuck around this time. And it was really good. I'm half tempted to read you the very first part of my step 7 before we get into what we got for you tonight, because we're going through this book called Addictive Thinking, Understanding Self-Deception. We're currently on chapter 6. And if you notice the title of this video, we are going to be talking about denial, rationalization, and projection. But like I said, if you can get to a group therapy, do it right now. That was amazing. Who we got hanging out? Hey, we got John and Michael Teeter and Derek and everybody up in the chat. Jump Little Doggy, how's it going?
Hello, everybody.
Hey, there's
Hey, Sawyer House.
there's Dwight, Linky.
Dwight.
Sky, how's it going? My glowing Sky. Jen R, how's it going? Oh, there's the myth, the man, the legend, Merc. Trademarked. Alicia, how's it going? Desmond, hanging in there. David Miller, how you doing, brother?
I'm not sure.
Alexa, stop. She thought I was talking to her there for a minute. Brittany, you're in our prayers, praying for you. And Michael Teeter. Denise. All the women say hello from the Sawyer house, right on. Oh, and I got an encouraging text. Do you guys remember the girls from Louisville, Kentucky? Mm-hmm. I got a little message from them today on my Facebook Messenger, and one of them has transitioned. She's 8 months pregnant. She's doing good. They're all still hanging out, and they just wanted us to shout them out. So you may see her in the comments today. There's my sister Erin. How's it going? Cherie. Welcome, mate. Do you guys call girls mates? Or is that like calling a girl a dude in those states? Sapper, how's it going? Donna K.
Hey, Kat.
Cat's in the house, right on.
Welcome.
Aubrey. I went to I wasn't ignoring your message there, brother. I was at my IOP program. I read step 7 to my counselor and my group therapy, and my core group that I have known now for a good 8 months, who know me more than pretty much anybody now because I've shared and disclosed things to them a lot of people will never ever hear. But group therapy, I just want you guys to know what I experienced today. And now I can teach experientially and tell you guys what I did. And that was I lived stressfully all week, right? I had situations with my son, my ex, my changing my diet. So I'm a little tired and grumpy, understanding all this stuff. And when it came to going to my IOP tonight, that's getting in the truck, driving 25 minutes south to sit in group therapy. And I was thinking about taking my temperature, washing your hands, doing the sanitizing, wearing a mask. And I was like, you know what? Screw it. I can just not go tonight. I got all kinds of excuses building up in my head. But I said, you know what? No, you're going. So I forced myself to go. And by golly, it was the best thing I did today. And so I want y'all to know that your boy here is working his program. I did not want to go, but I went. And on top of going, I accomplished step 7. So now I'm going to start working step 8. I'm going to start making that list. I'm going to become entirely ready to make amends to them all. And now I am practicing humbly asking God to remove all my defects of character. And it's a great thing, man. Working your program is an amazing thing. So the point is, if you're in recovery, you go to meetings. Once you start feeling like you don't want to go, make sure you go. Because had I not gone today, the next Tuesday when I'm supposed to go, it would have been a little easier to not go again. But it was a recharge, a revigorating. It was amazing. So I guess that's enough talk about that. I got a joke. Link's got a joke.
Oh, they call them Sheilas, not mates.
Sheila's.
All right. What do zombie vegetarians eat? Grains.
Slime fun. Is that you, Zylan? It's a good job, Dad.
Yeah, thanks, bud. There's my other kid I disappointed today. I feel really bad about. Dropped the ball. I didn't have his birth certificate. Oh, well.
That's its own obstacle that
No,
will
you made
conquer.
yourself mad. You didn't make me mad. You made
No, I
yourself
just disappointed you, and I felt bad for disappointing you. That's what I did.
Welcome to the show.
Hi,
Sorry, bud.
mad. No, it's all right.
I love you.
Millie showed me your phone. I was like, oh.
Yeah, and then I get home. First thing I see when I open the door is big old crocodile tears coming from my beautiful daughter. She
She's upset.
tried to make a cool video and decided to take her phone and do one of those things to make a cool video, and it hit the concrete.
Shattered. It's not turning on. She's very upset.
Yeah, she's upset. But it's okay.
Because she just got her new phone case.
Hi, Mom. Yeah, brand new phone case today. But it's okay. We'll get you a new one. All right. What is the date today? Is it June 9th?
It is.
Yeah, the night.
Okay, I just walked in the door, you guys, so I'm a little unprepared sitting here straight away. Just still excited about my IOP. The AA thought of the day says, we finally came to the bottom. We did not have to be financially broke, although many of us were, but we were spiritually bankrupt. We had a soul sickness, a revulsion against ourselves and against our way of living. Life had become impossible for us. We had to end it all or do something about it. I am glad I did something about it. And that's the question, actually. Am I glad I did something about it? And you're darn right I am, especially today. Like, man, I'm in recovery. You know, you go to those meetings and it just puts you on right back in the pink cloud. It gets you all excited. You know, it gets all that stress, all that relief. And I don't think that after I complete the 12 steps through my group therapy and you graduate eventually, you know, it's usually like a 2-year program that I'm in. And I don't think I'll ever stop going. You're welcomed back for the rest of your life. And it's not going to be something I ever quit going to. And that's what meetings are all about. And our meditation of the day is faith is not seeking, but believing. I'm in a box of space and time. I cannot see spacelessness or eternity, but God is not within the shell of time and space. He is timeless and spaceless. He cannot be fully comprehended by our finite minds, but we must try to make a union between our purpose and the purposes of God. By trying to merge our minds with the mind of God, a oneness of purpose results. This oneness of purpose puts us in harmony with God and others. Evil comes from being in disharmony with God, and good comes from being in harmony with Him. And so our prayer of the day is, I pray that I may be in harmony with God. I pray that I may get into the stream of goodness in the universe.
Well, that's perfect. Okay. Sound said, dang it. That's okay, Millie.
Where is Zion? Why can't I see his comments up here?
Oh,
He's a slime boy.
I didn't even see him.
Right there.
Oh.
Slime fun.
Oh, he's on YouTube.
Yeah.
Ew. I thought he was Facebooking it today. Guess not.
Nope. Grandma T said sorry.
Yep. Uh-oh. Michael Teeter's got a broken phone.
At least you're not alone. No, you're not alone.
Did you know that the three most common elements in addictive thinking are denial, rationalization, and projection? You know that? And then progressive elimination of these distortions is key to the recovering addicts making improvements. So we have to have progressive elimination of denial, rationalization, and projection. And that's key to making improvements in your recovery. Now, what is denial? It's not a river. That's not what we're talking. We're not talking about denial, right? We're talking about the term denial. And it's used here can be misunderstood. A lot of people do understand denial. Ordinarily, denying something that actually happened is thought of as lying. While addictive behavior does include lying, denial is addictive thinking does not mean telling lies. Lying, here's our character defect of dishonesty. Lying is willful and it's conscious. It's a distortion of facts or the concealment of truth. A liar is aware of lying. The denial of an addict thinker is neither conscious nor willful, and the addict may sincerely believe that he or she is telling the truth. Chapter 6, page 41. Addictive thinking. Is that making sense? Making sense to me. I read this a couple times today, and it has really changed my outlook on some things. I want to thank everybody here for watching. Please hit that like button if you're getting value out of this. And if you're a new YouTuber, please hit that subscribe button. Give us some support. Show us some love. Denial, and for that matter, rationalization and projection are unconscious mechanisms. So these three things we're talking about, denial, rationalization, and projection, are unconscious mechanisms in us, in here. JJ Johnson in the house. What's going on, brother? Packers fan, eh? Is that a Packers jersey he was wearing? I think it was.
Yep.
Oh, welcome. I'm glad you're here. Thank you very much. Hey, if you're on Facebook, you can share it out. Just hit that share button real quick. You could even start a watch party. You never know who needs to hear this stuff. So the addict's behavior can be understood only in the light of unconscious nature of these mechanisms. Unconscious nature of these mechanisms. And that's why confronting the denial, rationalization, and projection with facts to the contrary is ineffective. So to just come at them and tell them, hey, knock it off, quit, you're in denial. Oh, you're over rationalizing that. Oh, you're projecting your thoughts and stuff on somebody else. To just smack them with it, they don't see it, so it's ineffective. So here's the role of faulty perceptions. Addicts react according to their unconscious perceptions. And we just figured out that those three things we just said are unconscious to us. If these perceptions were valid, their behavior would be perfectly understandable. Unless we can show them that their perception is faulty, we cannot expect their reactions and behaviors to change. So basically, to help somebody out like us or like me, is you can't just attack them with, hey, that's wrong, but you just have to show them in a way that we'll get through here and we'll all look at that it is unhealthy and it is wrong, that our perception and our behavior needs to change because of that. And without showing the facts, they're never going to see the reality of it. Given how important the self-concept is in the addictive disease, the addict's distorted self-perception is the biggest problem. All other distorted perceptions are actually secondary. Anything in the chats?
Just Soupy ordered his books.
Sweet. I'm learning from everyone in the newcomers. Packers fan for real. Right on. Virtually all of an addict's defense mechanisms, think about that. It's defense mechanisms. The way that we acted, the way that we lied, the way that we stole, the way that we thought, the way that we lived were defense mechanisms. And they were unconscious. And their function is to protect the addict from some intolerable, unacceptable, and catastrophic awareness. Unconscious, to protect us. These psychological defense mechanisms can operate without conscious awareness. And it shouldn't be surprising that they do. And why does he say that they shouldn't be surprising? He goes on to give an example. What happens when we get cut? When our arm, think about the physical body now. Our arm, it gets cut, right? Tiny little cut. And white blood cells from all over the body start forming, right? To destroy bacteria from entering that wound. And then the bone marrow promptly begins to produce tens of thousands of more white blood cells to fight infection. The platelets and other blood clotting substances begin to form and clot to prevent blood clots, right? It's the immune system, and it's alerted, and it begins to produce antitoxins to fight disease-producing organisms. And all this complex activity, it occurs without us even being aware that it's happening within us. Even if we are aware of this happening, we're not going to be able to stop that process. So we cut ourselves, all those things start happening to where you get a scab and that eventually heals. Happens with you being aware of it, and you can't stop that process. And he goes on to say that psychological defense mechanisms are no different. You see how he related those two there? I love how when we think about the body and the mind, how much they really are connected. When we were talking about 2 or 3 chapters ago, when we actually get cut and it causes pain, it gives us awareness that something needs to happen, that we need to put a Band-Aid on it. Just like when we feel emotional pain, it causes awareness to us and that we need to actually get that fixed. But with the emotional pain, we usually don't fix it right away. We usually suppress it or we deal with it wrongly. You know, we get a big gash on our arm. We know, oh, time to go get stitches, but we get a heartache and we just boom, swallow it down. I think by my example today, I had all that heartache and all that pain and emotion. It was telling me that something was wrong. And then my body going, you don't need to go to your IOP. And had I had listened to that, I'd have been doing the complete, it would have been like cutting my arm open and not going to the doctor to get stitches.
There's your infection, Cherie.
Get an infection in the cut, you got to go get it fixed. Right? And just like your emotions, some things you don't need to freak out and talk about. We learn tools to deal with these emotions, right? But then on top, like today, I think the emotions that I was experiencing this weekend with my son and my ex, and then with letting my son down, and then even, a little bit with Millie right now, going to see my counselor in group therapy was the fix that I needed, that my inner self needed to remain on this road to recovery. To not take, if I would have skipped my IOP, I would have taken that emotional problem and stress into tomorrow. I would have been horrible at work, probably. I probably would have stayed up too late, ate too much, slept in, been late for work, probably, and then tomorrow I could have been short with Felice and, mad at her and all that stuff.
That's the infection.
That's the infection.
Gotta take care of it before it gets to infection. Oh, we got a newcomer, Virginia Dobkins.
10
Wow,
months.
12.
Yes.
Glad you're here.
That is awesome. Good job, Virginia. Make sure you hit that
Our regular
subscribe button, Virginia, and ring that bell. We're live every night at 8 o'clock, and so you can get reminders to be able to jump on when you see us if you want to.
Yep. Working them steps. Gets rid of that infection, Cherie.
Amen. Love it.
Prevents infection, really.
Yep.
Yeah.
So our psychological defense mechanisms are no different. They do not go into action at our direction. We are unaware of their operation, and until gaining an awareness of them through recovery, an addict can do nothing to stop them. See, that's the difference. We can't do nothing about our blood clotting, right? And doing all the white blood cell things that it does. Our defense mechanism, us being unaware of them, we can do nothing about the way they react. But once we start becoming aware of how they work inside our mind, because it's unhealthy, we can actually fix it. And until we can gain awareness of that, we cannot do anything about it. And that's what recovery is. That's what's going to meetings, and that's what's opening up and joining communities and sharing and loving one another does. It brings you out of that. It brings that to the forefront of your mind, reading literature and listening to me blab over literature. It is therefore futile as well as nonsensical to tell an alcoholic or other people with addictions to stop denying, stop rationalizing, or stop projecting when they are not aware of when they are not even aware that they're doing so. They must first be helped to become aware of what they're doing. And there's a story that's going to illustrate this. So I'm going to read you guys a story from this chapter on page 43 if you want to follow along. And it's titled, "That Just Couldn't Happen to Me." The patient, a 55-year-old woman, was admitted to the hospital for exploratory surgery because of a suspected tumor. She told the doctor that she was very active in community affairs and had assumed many important responsibilities. Although a tumor might mean cancer, it was important to her that she know the truth, since it would be unfair to many people and many organizations to continue carrying on responsibilities if her health was deteriorating. And so the doctor promised to be frank and reveal all the findings in the surgery. Surgery revealed that she did indeed have a cancerous tumor. Complying with her requests for complete truthfulness, the doctor had a frank talk with the patient, telling her that the malignant tumor had to be removed for the cancer to be arrested. Furthermore, because the tumor showed some indications it had already spread, the patient would need to undergo chemotherapy. Thanking the doctor for being truthful, she agreed to cooperate with whatever the treatment was recommended. She spoke freely with the nurses and the staff about her cancer. After being discharged from the hospital, she returned weekly for chemotherapy. And she often remarked to the hospital personnel how fortunate she was to be living in an era where science had provided a successful treatment for her cancer. She appeared to be adjusting well, both physically and emotionally. 5 or 6...
Get on here right now. Mike said so.
5 or 6 months after her surgery, however, she began to have various symptoms. The cancer had spread in spite of chemotherapy. Eventually, she developed severe joint pain, shortness of breath, and she was admitted to the hospital for further treatment. And he's talking in his first person now. When I was doing the admission workup on her, she remarked, "I can't understand what is wrong with you doctors. I've been coming here regularly, and you just haven't been able to find out what's wrong with me." And the remark, he says, astonished him, since she had repeatedly referred to herself as having cancer. After thinking about it, I realized that that as long as she saw cancer as some kind of abstract concept that did not pose an immediate threat to her life, she could accept the diagnosis. But once the condition began causing pain, shortness of breath, concrete evidence that she was deteriorating, she felt so threatened that her psychological system shut off realization of the truth. She was not intentionally lying nor pretending. She actually did not believe that she had cancer. Denial is a defense mechanism. You tracking? You following? Hit that like button if you're getting value out of this.
Can you dig? Desmond loves your shirt. We
Link
know
A.
that. And Aubrey has a special guest.
Oh, sweet. Sounds like we're getting a video this weekend, huh? Huh,
He
mate?
said something about
I
you
gotta
got
give him.
something set up, right?
I gotta give you crap, Aubrey. You know this, right?
Hi, Don.
Hey, Don.
What up? Again, Michael Teeter's husband. Watch. Right now. Other Mr. Teeter. Please join us.
Denial. Man, it's a defensive mechanism. So the obvious question is, a defense against what? So in the case that we just read, right, the woman couldn't accept the devastating realization that she had a fatal disease. She couldn't accept it. And that her life was going to end soon. So it was okay once she was beating it. So it really never felt like it was in her body. But all of a sudden, her joints, she couldn't breathe. She's like, oh man, death is right around the corner. I don't have cancer. You guys can't figure out what's wrong with me. That was the defense mechanism to help her cope with. And it was out of her, she was denied it. It was out of her view. She didn't, So in the case of addiction, how does this relate to the addicted person? What is so terrifying that the addict's psychology system opts to deny reality? So obviously in her case, cancer's about to take her down, about to kill her. So what is it about the addict that puts us in denial when we are over drinkers, when we are shooting up heroin, when we're sniffing lines and smoking and shooting up meth? What is so terrifying that our psychology system opts to deny the reality that we are in trouble? So the answer is that awareness of being an alcoholic or a drug addict is beyond acceptance. So why? Here's 1, 2, 3, 4 examples of why. The person may feel stigmatized at being labeled an alcoholic or an addict. A lot of people won't go to AA meetings. We read that a few days ago, right? The lady that was so worried about people finding out that she was an alcoholic, she would not walk into a meeting in fear of being seen. So she denied she had a problem because of the stigma behind her being an alcoholic. And then at the same time, she drank so much that she ended up in public. She would, in a situation she never wanted to be seen in, leaning on the wall in the rain, holding the turkey under her arms, drunk, which the same conclusion was drawn by the people that would have seen her. The craziness of addictive thinking, denial. Number 2, the person may consider addiction to indicate a personality weakness or moral degeneracy. And that kind of goes with the stigma, I believe. All of a sudden you feel inadequate. Oh, I'm an addict. That person's not. I'm less than them. Number 3, a person may think not being able to use alcohol or drugs again is frightening. And I can experience that right there. I can feel that. The thought of me never being able to drink again, it was frightening. I was like, oh man, I don't have a problem. I'll be able to drink again one day. And sometimes that denial comes wrapping around my head sometimes. Number 4, the person may not accept the concept of being powerless and not in control. That's where their pride and ego comes in, right? They're not going to admit they're powerless. I'm in control. I can quit whenever I want. And that's where denial happens there. There's the frightening part. There's where our psychological defense opts for that blinding reality, right? Blinding that reality that we are indeed powerless over it. And to admit that, nope, not going to do that. So I'm in denial because you truly believe you are in control and powerful. Sepper. Glad you're all doing this. I would not be doing as good as I am without you. Monday will be 60 days, the longest I've ever gone in the States. Amen. Dude, awesome. That's encouraging to me, knowing that you're gaining enough value out of this channel to stay sober and breaking records with your sobriety for yourself. I love it. So what's the conclusion of this denial? Until denial is overcome, addicts are not lying when they say they aren't dependent on chemicals. They are truly unaware of their dependency. It's crazy. Truly unaware. I was there.
Yeah.
Been there, done that a few times in my life.
Can't even convince them, no matter how hard you try.
And I'm going to let Felice chit chat here for a minute so I can go get me a cup of tea.
Ooh, tea time. Race. Hi, Ray.
Ray Rock?
Yep.
What's up, Ray?
Said I can stop anytime I want. I just choose not to do so at this time. How many times have I told myself that lie?
Yep.
Right? I've heard that lie a few times. Then he finally did it. So eventually, it's not a lie. Let's see. Let me go back up. I was going to read Brittany. She's got a question. The not being in control is where my problem lies, and is not only an addiction, it is in every area of my life. How do I change that? Just got to realize you're not in control, I guess. How do you fix that? Not being in control is where my problem lies. It's hard to not be in control when you want to be in control.
Well, at
It's a
least
hard
you
thing
understand that you're
let
not in
go of.
control. And I would say the best thing the advice that I have, an understanding control. You could look at the character defect jealousy. We own nobody. We cannot make anybody do anything we want them to do. I would highly suggest, and I mean this for everybody, to take that serenity prayer that's on every wall, every Pinterest post, every old grandma's house's wall with a painting that says, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can. And here's the key, the wisdom to know the difference. Get that out of your head as a cliche prayer that we say at the end of every meeting, not just here, but AA and NA, right? And if you're in group therapy and 12-step programs, you're going to hear that prayer so much that it's just you're going to say it just like you singing Mary Had a Little Lamb in grade school. It's going to become meaningless. I challenge y'all to take that prayer and bring meaning back into it and study what it means to understand what can I change, what can I not change, and God help me understand the difference, because that's where the value lies, right there in that wisdom. Because a lot of people are trying to change things that they cannot change, causing stress, anxiety, and they're powerless over it. They can't do it, but they're trying. Other things they can change, and they're accepting the things that they can, and they're accepting it as if they can't change it. And if you do go to change something that you have the ability to change, it will improve your life. And that's why the key is the wisdom to know the difference. So actively meditate on that prayer tonight, tomorrow. I've been chewing on that prayer for like a month and a half now, since it blew out of the cliche box. You know, it seems cliche because it's written everywhere. It's said all the time, but listen how profound that prayer is, and then use it in that sense.
This might brighten up your day, but that's hot. That picture you sent yesterday of your girls waving at Linky, that made my day. That was the cutest thing I ever saw. I pretty much showed everybody. I was like, Linky's famous.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That was the best. And if your girls are watching, hi girls and kids. Mandy.
Still in denial after I drank an entire bottle of vodka a few days ago and blacked out. I keep thinking I could be a moderate drinker, and obviously I can't. I feel a light bulb just went off. Praise God, Mandy. See it, cling to that, and understand it, and don't forget it. Don't forget it. We've messed up our minds through drinking. What we feel right now, we won't feel tomorrow. Write it down. Take note, do something to remind yourself of what you're thinking and feeling right now with what you just wrote there, to help perpetuate through your sobriety. It's insane. We can't. I've tried to wean. You know how many times I tried to wean off of whiskey? I had the most brilliant plan to do it too. I was going to cut them in halves. Cut them in halves. Now, I never made it. As soon as I drank that first shot of whiskey, I finished the bottle and went to the liquor store for more.
Sheree says that's part of step one. Good job.
Step
Donna,
one.
I always referred to myself as alcohol dependent, not an alcoholic, as my mom was an alcoholic. And I wasn't as bad as her. That's the key there is yet.
Mischaracterization. That's rationalization right there, which is a great segue into the next part of our book. So what is rationalization? Donna just hit the nail on the head with that example.
Oh, they were watching.
Rationalization means providing good reasons instead of true reasons. Like denial, this defense is not exclusive to chemically dependent people, though addicts can be very adept at it. Not that rationalization means offering good, that is, plausible reasons, and this does not mean that all rationalizations are good reasons. Some are downright silly, but they can be made to sound reasonable, like Donna was just telling us right there. They not only divert others' attention from the truth, but also the addicts. As with denial, rationalization is an unconscious process. That is, the person is unaware of rationalizing. A fairly reliable tool, he says, a rule of thumb, he says, is when people offer more than one reason. Listen to this real quick. This hit me. I had to read this a few times. And then I saw it back and I was like, man, anything I do in life right now, it started making me think about how many, let me read it and then I'll get to that thought. So a fairly reliable rule of thumb is that when people offer more than one reason for doing something, they are probably rationalizing it. Usually, the true reason for any action is a single reason. That's not 100%, but I bet you 90. Anything you do, you can probably have it to one reason. And if you have to have more than one reason, you're rationalizing.
We are good at overthinking.
Yeah, we are.
Sheree hears you, Desi.
Because rationalization sounds reasonable, they are very deceptive, and anyone can get taken by them. Here's an example. A woman who graduated as an accountant was reluctant to apply for a promising job. Here's the reason: because she was afraid of being turned out. However, the reason she gave her family was different. The first thing she said is, oh, they're probably looking for somebody with years of experience. And then she went over to her dad and said, well, the office is too far away. I travel to every day. I don't want to drive that far. And then the third thing, maybe she went and told her brother, the starting wage it's just unsatisfactory. I'm worth more than that. But in reality, she was afraid of being turned down. That's rationalization. A recovering alcoholic stopped going to AA. His reason? I work in a rehabilitation center and I see alcoholics and addicts all day. I really don't need another hour of them at night. While his reason may seem plausible, the real reason for him avoiding AA was that he wished to drink again, and attending AA was going to make that difficult. Rationalization reinforces denial. The alcoholic might say, I'm not an alcoholic. I drink because. To the addict, an apparently valid reason for drinking means that he or she is not addicted. Why did you drink? Let me know in the comments. Why did you use drugs? Let me know in the comments. That was your rationalization that perpetuated and kept you in denial.
Hi, Lexi.
Hi, Lexi. Most likely simply trying to convince themselves. Amen. Linky.
As soon as I take the first drug or drink, I'm no longer in control. My disease is
Let
in
me try to grab
control.
my
My
vape.
disease wants me using, alone, and dead. Yes, it does. My mind has been trying to overthink me into drug relapse for last month. It's scary. Is that your boyfriend, Brittany, or husband? I remember your story.
Okay, so here's another thing I didn't have time to do today. Give me your opinion in the comments. Cassie sent me a video, but I had to go to my IOP. I'm rationalizing now. I'm rationalizing.
Excuses.
Here's what we can do. All right, here's what we can do. She sent the video. I said, I'm on my way to my IOP. I don't have time to edit this. She said, then you can just read the quote. No worries. So I have a raw video, unedited, of Cassie. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hold that thought.
Ooh, holding. I'm holding my thoughts.
Have a third option. Maybe. So what would you guys like to see? You want me to upload the comment, or not the comment, the quote, and I read it to you and Felice do our thing and pretend like we're Cassie? Do you want to watch, or do you want to watch the raw video?
The raw video.
Ricky says,
Raw cookie dough.
started drugs because of curiosity, and everyone I knew was doing them. I was curious too. I wanted to get high.
Dad. The raw video.
The raw? Millie says raw.
The raw video. The raw video.
Peter wants to know where the banner is. Sometimes it makes Cherie a little dizzy.
I didn't have time for that either, Teeter. I had to teeter.
Teeter, totter, tutor.
I didn't have enough hours in my day. Got home from work, went to Brigham City, tried to get Amos's license, came home, dropped him off, took a shower, ran to my IOP, and walked in the door as I hit go live.
Ooh, I see.
So today, oh sheesh. Grab a towel, Linky.
Oh, you might want to move that.
That was the worst accident ever that we've done all day.
I don't know. Your phone's pretty messed up.
My phone?
No, Millie's.
Oh well.
No, I
And
don't know
then
why.
here on live YouTube, I just spilled my tea all over my desk.
Paper towels would be better. Grab some paper towels.
Grab some paper towels.
Okay.
On your box.
Hold on, y'all. We just had an accident.
Oh, geez, it's like in Alexa.
Good.
Now you can shut up.
Oh, it is all the way down.
Oh well.
At least everything's still working. 2 seconds later.
It gets in all these wires.
Sorry, y'all.
Well, good thing that was not coffee.
Good enough.
Make sure to
Garbage.
Where'd everybody go?
put.
Guys!
Oh, there you go, guys.
I just totally lost everybody.
You're like, where'd everybody go?
Ooh, sticky. I think we got most of it.
All right. So where's the comments at? Who's raw video? Donna says.
Rah, 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 rah.
All right. What a brain. Sorry about that, y'all. I'm so excited tonight. I'm just like kicking everything over. Couldn't figure out why he was not home. Could not figure out why he was not home, why he didn't sleep for days. He left it on the dresser and he thought I was sleeping and he walked out of the bedroom and I got curious. Okay, so I had two options, right? I had because of my IOP, right? Couldn't edit the video, but I got the thing. But there's actually a third option, you guys. And check it out. Hi, Cassie. We can't hear you. Are you muted?
Are we muted?
Are we not down?
Talk again.
Try it again. Audio. Hit the audio button.
Oh, look, she is muted.
Oh, there she
Now
goes.
you're not.
Good. I'm freaking driving at the same time here.
What's up, Cassie? Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes.
I love Cassie.
Oh.
Driving, I'm trying to find.
Perfect.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. I'm gonna mute ourselves, so we'll let you talk for a minute.
You're gonna. Oh no, I can't hear you.
I know I muted us so that you could talk and without the echo.
Hey everyone, nice to see you. Sorry I'm driving. LT put me on the spot, of course. So here I am live. I'm making my first debut. Still in the middle of moving, but I appreciate your guys' support so much. So thank you. Okay, are we doing this right? I can't hear you, LT.
Oh, I forgot I muted myself. So do I need to read your quote for you, or do you want to, or do you remember it?
Hold on, let me think what it's today. Today's. I don't remember it right now. No.
True self-discovery begins where your comfort zone ends.
Where your comfort zone ends.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I can't even get my hands together. You guys are gonna have to drive it.
Tell us what to do, and we'll do it.
We'll do it. Put your hands together.
Read that love. Do, do, do. All right, I'll let you get back to driving. Love you.
Love you, Cassie.
Wasn't that a special treat, everybody?
That was fun.
I love my
Oh, that's funny. Everybody said, be careful, Cassie. Watch the road. Keep your eyes on the road. Reminded me of Uncle Tim. Keep your eyes on the road.
There we go.
All righty. Merck says, thank you, Cassie. It was wonderful at first, but then it became a major problem. Yeah, no diggity doubt about that. 10 and 2, Cassie. John says, keep your hands on 10 and 2.
Grandma T.
You know what? We're just going to bring Cassie back in the show because she hasn't left yet. And we're going to put her right there in the corner. She's going to hang out with us the rest of the time. Yeah, we're looking at you, Cassie. We're looking right at you.
Where are we going?
Where are we going? She's muted. All right, I'm going to get back into this book real quick. We got one more thing to go through. So we just figured out rationalization's no good either. You can't be telling us reasons that you think are good to keep doing what you're doing. What's the reality? Because rationalization is only going to confirm denial. And so the next thing is projection. Projection means placing the blame on others for the things that are really responsible. We are really responsible for ourselves. So like rationalization, projection serves two functions. It reinforces denial. I'm not an alcoholic. She makes me drink. If you had a boss like I got, you'd use drugs too. So it helps, number two, it helps preserve the status quo. Why should I make any changes? I'm not the one at fault. When others make the appropriate changes, I won't need to drink or use drugs. If my boss would just be nicer and quit being such a jerk, I wouldn't drink or use drugs. If my wife would just quit nagging me, I wouldn't drink. Blaming someone else seems to relieve an addict from the responsibility of making changes. As long as you do this to me, you cannot accept me to change.
Mm-hmm.
So since others are not likely to change, that ain't going to happen. The drinker and the other drugs use can continue. Trying to convince addicts that their arguments are not valued is usually unproductive, since an addictive projection primarily serves to sustain the use of chemicals. It will disappear on its own when sobriety is achieved. The best approach to take is to remind addicts you cannot change anyone but yourself. Let's work on bringing about the healthy changes in yourself that you can make. Now, this next paragraph, when I read it today, hit me hard, and it made me think of my dad. And I even pretended I was talking to him when I read this. this whole projection thing, right? Addicts, as well as others with psychological problems, may blame their parents for their shortcomings, something which pop psychology has inadvertently encouraged. Some addicts spend countless hours rehearsing the past and tend to use such information to indulge in self-pity and to justify their recourse to chemicals. I have found it helpful to say, now this is the part that got me. This is where I was pretending like I was talking to my dad. Even if you are what your parents made you, if you stay that way, it's your own fault.
Yep.
Boom.
We make our own decisions.
Did you hear that, Cassie? That was good, huh?
Mic drop. Tea drop.
Man, I spilled that stuff everywhere.
Yeah, I think it went all the way down.
Oh, yeah. It's down
It's
there.
on the floor.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Even if your parents made you like that, if you stay that way, it's your own darn fault. Check it out. We are not going to undo the past. Let's focus on making the necessary changes to improve your functioning. Right? So these three major elements of addictive thinking, denial, rationalization, and projection, must be addressed at every stage of recovery. They may be present in layers, and much like the layers of an onion, as one layer of denial, rationalization, and projection is peeled away, another is discovered underneath. The progressive elimination of these distortions of reality allows for improvement in recovery. That was amazing.
That's good.
Where in your life have you seen yourself lately? Even just it made me really focus just even on myself in the last week. Where have I been in denial? Where have I been rationalizing? Where have I been projecting? Because of you, I am the way I am.
Amber from Put the Shovel Down, she's got a really good video about when an alcoholic projects things on you like that and starts blaming you for their problems. And she talks about how to, I guess, basically remove yourself as a, what's the word I'm looking for? As part of the equation, I guess. So that you're at it, like move yourself out of the way because you're blocking the addict's view. So you move yourself out of the way so that they can't blame you anymore. And then they have to start looking at themselves, which is a very hard thing to do, but it is possible. But yeah, but Amber has great videos about that stuff.
Yeah, check out Amber. Put the shovel down. Boom, chaka-bucka, boom, boom. You know I'm doing a dance move to this. Yes.
You got the best moves, girl.
Is Cassie back? She's still hanging out with us. She's right there. I see the top of her head.
We see you.
Peekaboo.
We
Peekaboo.
see you sailing.
So what'd you guys think about that? Hit like if you got something out of there today.
I win.
Man, that was
I
good.
hit like first.
I read that today and I read it once yesterday. I read it twice today, and then that's the third time I've gone through it today. And boy, it hit home, especially that last bit. So a lot of you know that I still hold a lot of resentments, right? Towards my dad and stuff. And that's one of the things right there. As soon as I read that last part, it made me think of myself too, you know.
Yeah, Amber calls it being the bad guy. Remember she was talking about
Yeah.
the me.
It can start right now, John. That's right.
I would play the bad guy role and to quit doing that. I'm gonna find it. I'll put the link. It's a good one.
I'm going to be using that too. Like, oh, your parents made you that way? I'm sorry. That sucks. But if you stay that way, it's your fault.
Yeah. We are responsible.
You're welcome,
for our
Alicia. Are you
own
keeping up in the
lives.
book? Because I know that you have this book at home. Are you following along? Are you reading ahead and then listening to us, or how are you handling your book, Alicia? How do you handle your readings and stuff? I try to read it a good three or four times. 2-week wait. Oh, well, bummer. Well, here's another thing I'm gonna let y'all know. As soon as we get to monetization, that's 1,000 subscribers, and I'm gonna start redoing some things on this channel so that I can actually make videos. But I'm gonna go back through all the books that we've gone through, and I'm gonna make short little 5 to 10 minute videos of all the power parts out of the books. And so I'll start producing those. So get the books. You can still get them. I'm going to be making more videos about them, just shorter in length, not these lives where we sit and go through it for a good hour and stuff. But woohoo! Oh, you guys, 22 is my record. If we can get more than 22 likes, we will beat that record. Because I spelt my T. Oh, thanks. He just about ruined all his equipment. Let's hit that like button.
That's funny.
Yeah, listen to Merc. Everybody get us to subscribes. We're going live every night till we hit 1,000 subscribers. If that takes a year, it takes a year. If it takes 2, then it takes 2. 24, we're at 24 likes. Oh boy, y'all just broke a record. I'm gonna get an email. 26, Aaron said 26. I can't see it from where I'm sitting. Fleece can see him, I think. Can you see him?
On the Facebook?
No, YouTube.
30.
What? No, likes.
Yeah, 30.
Holy cow, you guys, you blew that record out of the water. Jacqueline in the house. Glad you're here.
Jacqueline.
Cassie, are you still there? Hello. Hello.
That was weird.
Whoop, whoop, 30. Thanks, you guys.
This was one.
Oh, man. Tonight just turned out to be an amazing night. My dad stays about 7 blocks from me, and we've not spoken in months. He's an alcoholic and drug addict. Oh, Dwight, I feel your pain, man. My dad is probably about 10 minutes away from me. And not an alcoholic, but I believe he's an addict.
Yeah.
Hola. Hello, hola. Hola.
Oh, and all
Jacqueline.
you newcomers, I am going to put our private Facebook group.
Oh, Cassie's in the comments now.
And y'all,
Yeah.
join. We have wonderful people like Cassie
I can't.
and Peter and Alicia and all the people that I didn't name but who are amazing. Nope, that was the wrong one. Just copy.
Yes.
Do what I tell
Thanks,
you.
Jump Little Doggy.
Let's try this again. Boom. There it is. Private Facebook group. Oh, I posted the private Facebook group in the private Facebook group.
So the just for today NA message for June 9th is old dreams needn't die. Lost dreams awaken and new possibilities arise. Most of us had dreams when we were young. Whether we dreamed of dynamic career, a large and loving family, or travels abroad, our dreams died when our addiction took hold. Anything we ever wanted for ourselves was cast away in our pursuit of drugs. Our dreams didn't go beyond the next drug and the euphoria we hoped it would bring. Now in recovery, we find a reason to hope that our lost dreams could still come true. No matter how old we are, how much our addiction has taken from us, or how unlikely it may seem, our freedom from active addiction gives us the freedom to pursue our ambitions. We may discover that we were very talented at something, or find a hobby we love, or learn that continuing our education can bring remarkable rewards. We used to put most of our energy into spinning excuses, rationalizations for our failures. Today, we go forward and make use of the many opportunities life present to us. We may be amazed at what we are capable of. With our foundation of recovery, success, fulfillment, and satisfaction are within our reach at last. So just for today, starting today, I'll do whatever I can to realize my dreams. Boom. Always so fitting. I love just for today. I entered treatment as an alcoholic. I started going to AA because of alcohol, because the last part of my life, I was a raging fifth-the-night drinker. But the first part of my life, I was a chemical using meth addict. So I'm an addict. But to read the two, I've been digging just for today's, man. Loving it. Brittany, thank you. Where are we at now? Woo, that is so cool. It starts now. That's right, John. Absolutely. All right, let's pray. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Amen. And thank you, God, for my IOP and my counselor. Thank you for your will. Thank you for step 7. As we move through, let us continue to grow in recovery. Everybody that's here right now. In your name, Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
Yeah. Good night, Erin, my sister. Had great parents and ended up with plenty of defects. Isn't that weird? This book was teaching us that. It doesn't, not always does our environment like that create our addictive thinking. Murd, you're welcome, brother. I'm glad you were here. All right, y'all. We'll be back tomorrow at 8. We're going to go through chapter 7 of that book. Every night here at 8 o'clock, hit that like button on the way out, but I'm sure all y'all did, and I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
31.
So until tomorrow at 8 o'clock, make sure that you never put yourself in a high-risk situation. Stay strong, work your program, and remember that we recover better together.